Ancient Rome had its fair share of eccentric emperors. These weren't just your average rulers with a penchant for purple togas and elaborate feasts. These were men whose antics left even the most seasoned historians scratching their heads. They left behind a legacy as perplexing as it is fascinating. From declaring war on the sea to harboring unsettling obsessions, these emperors pushed the boundaries of sanity and societal norms. Their reigns offer a glimpse into a world where power, madness, and extravagance intertwined in a dangerous and often tragic dance. Let's start with Caligula, a name synonymous with tyranny and madness. His reign, though short-lived, was a whirlwind of bizarre behavior. One of the most famous anecdotes involves his war against Neptune, the Roman god of the sea. Imagine, if you will, a fully armed legion marching towards the ocean, ready for battle. But their enemy wasn't a rival army. It was the vast expanse of water itself. Caligula, the third Roman emperor, ascended to the throne with a mix of hope and trepidation surrounding his reign. He was young, charismatic, and initially popular. However, this early promise soon gave way to erratic behavior and cruelty, cementing his reputation as one of Rome's most tyrannical rulers. Among the many tales of his reign, the story of his war against Neptune stands out as particularly bizarre. Picture this. Caligula, adorned in full military regalia, stands on the shores of the English Channel. He orders his soldiers, the pride of Rome, to charge into the waves. Their weapons, swords, spears, and nets. Yes, nets. The emperor, convinced he could capture the sea god Neptune, had instructed his men to declare war on the ocean itself. This act, often interpreted as a sign of madness, has puzzled historians for centuries. Was Caligula truly delusional, believing he could conquer a deity, or was there a method to his madness? Some scholars speculate it was a symbolic gesture, a show of force intended to intimidate Britain and assert Roman dominance. Others believe it was a bizarre, theatrical display meant to emphasize his own power and unpredictability. Whatever the reason, Caligula's war on Neptune perfectly encapsulates the capricious nature of his reign. His actions, often driven by paranoia and delusions of grandeur, had a profound impact on Roman society. The once popular emperor became a figure of fear and ridicule. His erratic behavior eroded the authority of the throne and sowed seeds of discontent among the Roman elite. But Caligula wasn't the only emperor with a penchant for the unusual. His successor, Nero, infamous for his alleged role in the Great Fire of Rome, also had his share of eccentricities. One particular episode revolves around his deep affection for his wife, Poppaea Sabina, and the unsettling lengths he went to after her death. Nero, the last emperor of the Julio-Claudian dynasty, is a figure shrouded in controversy. While his reign saw a period of relative peace and prosperity, it was also marked by accusations of tyranny and extravagance. His love for Poppaea Sabina, his second wife, is often portrayed as a grand romance. However, it was a love marred by tragedy and obsession. When Poppaea died, likely due to complications from a miscarriage or, as some historians believe, from injuries sustained during a fit of Nero's rage, the emperor was devastated. He refused to believe she was gone. He had her embalmed and kept her body in the palace, often speaking to her as if she was still alive. He even held a lavish funeral for her, complete with a grand procession and public mourning. But Nero's grief took a sinister turn. Driven by his obsession, He reportedly sought out young boys who resembled Poppaea. He would have them dressed and made up to look like his dead wife. He even went so far as to castrate one of them, Sporus, and attempted to transform him into a female to fully replicate Poppaea's image. Section 5. Echoes of Agrippina, the price of unrequited love. This disturbing episode offers a glimpse into Nero's psyche, revealing a man consumed by grief and driven to extreme measures to cope with his loss. It also highlights the dangerous combination of power and unchecked emotions. Nero's actions, fueled by his obsession, further tarnished his reputation and added to the growing dissent against his rule. From the depths of perceived madness to the complexities of love and loss, we journey now to an emperor who challenged societal norms in a whole new way. Elagabalus, a name whispered in hushed tones and often met with raised eyebrows, dared to live life on his own terms, breaking free from the rigid expectations placed upon Roman emperors. Section 6. Elagabalus, breaking boundaries in ancient Rome. Elagabalus, a teenage emperor who ruled Rome for a brief but tumultuous period, remains one of history's most enigmatic figures. Born in Syria as Varius Avitus Bassianus, he inherited a claim to the Roman throne through his mother, Julia Soaemius, who was a cousin of the previous emperor, Caligula. However, it was his unconventional lifestyle and religious beliefs that truly set him apart from his predecessors. Elagabalus was a priest of the Syrian sun god Elagabalus, a deity represented by a black conical stone. Upon becoming emperor, he introduced this foreign cult to Rome, building a lavish temple dedicated to Elagabal on the Palatine Hill. This act, seen as sacrilegious by many Romans, was just the tip of the iceberg when it came to Elagabalus's unorthodox behavior. He openly embraced his femininity, preferring to be addressed as Domina, the feminine form of Dominus, master. He wore elaborate makeup and wigs, adorned himself with jewels and silks, and expressed a desire to undergo a sex change operation. This behavior, considered scandalous by Roman standards, shocked and alienated the Roman elite. Section 7. The Sun God Emperor, a glimpse into Elagabalus's reign. Elagabalus's reign was a whirlwind of religious fervour, lavish banquets and shocking scandals. He married 5 times, at least once to a Vestal virgin, a high priestess whose vows of chastity were considered sacred. He is also rumoured to have frequented brothels and boasted about the high prices he commanded for his services. While some historians argue that Elagabalus's actions were deliberately provocative, intended to challenge Roman tradition and assert his own power, others believe they were a genuine expression of his identity. He may have been one of the first transgender individuals in a position of such prominence, a pioneer who dared to live authentically in a time when such openness